So a few months back, I watched a movie called The Hangman, which starred LaJohn Woods. I think that's how you say it. I apologize if I said it wrong. And he wrote me an email after he watched the review and was like, thanks for the review. You know, we really worked hard on it. And, you know, thanks for taking the time, this and that. He's like, I'm sorry you didn't love it, but, you know, blah, blah, blah. He's very cool about it. We went back and forth, emailed back and forth quite a few times. Really, really nice guy. And then I think literally like the next day, I saw a trailer for a movie called Beezel. And I was like, hey, you know, and it had him in the trailer. And I wrote him up and I was like, hey, look what I just found. He's like, ooh, I think you're going to like this one. And I was like, well, if only I knew an actor that was in it to get me a screener. And he was like, I'll see what I can do. So then I saw this was coming out tomorrow, limited. Supposedly this has a limited theater run starting tomorrow, and then on the 24th, 4 days later, it drops on VOD. And I wrote him like yesterday or 2 days ago and was like, hey man, I see your movie comes out like in a day or two. And he's like, you'll be hearing from whoever soon. And bam, like fucking really fast, I got the screener. So thank you to LaJohn. That was pretty freaking badass. You know, sometimes it pays off to watch shitty, like lower budgeted movies. It's not shitty, but it's like ultra low budget. And a lot of people like just completely look past it. And it finally pays off to watch those lower budgeted films that no one else reviews. Anyways, so Beezel. This is a movie that I knew literally nothing about, and neither of us did.
No.
I saw the poster, and that was it. And it was a cool poster.
I didn't even see the poster.
This is the poster for you.
It is a cool poster.
And all I can really say about the movie, because I don't want to reveal one aspect of the film that I think makes it cool that I don't think you'll see coming, but there's a structure to the film that I wasn't expecting, and I was like, oh, okay. But this is about a hungry witch. How about that?
Very hungry.
A very hungry witch.
Like ravenous.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a witch in a house and she wants to eat. Let's just say that. Now LaJohn's character is a guy who is hired to come in and document something.
Yes.
Now, the film is not found footage, but it does have a lot of, like, found footage moments, right? So it's a hybrid, but it's much more on the side of, like, a traditional classic film with some footage that is shot on different kinds of cameras. This is actually one of the rare times where I actually preferred the way that they did it here.
Yeah, I actually liked it. We have talked about before with found footage films that we're typically not, at least I know, I'm not a fan of like a hybrid found footage at all. But this works really well because it's not trying to sell it as found footage.
Correct.
It's just that there's footage within the story that is like, you know, filmed.
It's revealed very early on that it's going to be back and forth.
Yeah.
And so in that way, it never presents itself. Like, what pisses me off is when you're watching 20, 30 minutes of found footage and then it just goes traditional.
Right.
And then it tries to kind of come back and forth and you're like, no.
Yeah,
you had me
that's
totally like bought into that this was going to be fully found footage.
Yeah.
And this one does not do that. This one is very upfront about it right out the gate. And I think the found footage elements that we get in the film are very effective. And,
I do too.
And some of my favorite stuff in the film. But would I have liked this entire film to be found footage? No. I actually like how it's filmed. I like the way that they presented this movie. I really liked this. I definitely much better than The Hangman, as he had said I would like this a lot, and I did. I did like this a lot. It has some pretty spooky stuff in it for sure. I think that there's some creepy elements quite often. I think the horror works very well, and I also think that there's some good gags with like the gore and whatnot. There's not a ton of it, but what we do see, I quite enjoyed. My only real critique that I have for the film is there's a couple that comes in late in the film, and I didn't really like them. Like, their chemistry together, and was fine at first, but it grated on me after a while, and I think that's on purpose. I just didn't love them, and I really was enjoying everything else. I didn't hate it. They didn't, like, knock me out of the movie.
Yeah.
They were fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like they were a bit of a downgrade from the other things that we had been, watching. Other characters we had been with for the rest of the film. So, I don't know. They kind of knocked it down a little bit for me, but not a lot. Overall, we don't get a lot of witch movies. This is a very cool addition to the witch subgenre, which has so few options.
Yeah, I was super into the film. I think that there's a lot of really scary stuff in here, and all that was, like, very effective for me. Like, I was pretty freaked out for a good majority of it. I love the location, too. I think that the house is used very, very well.
Yeah.
And then, the other element, which we're choosing to leave out in this review, I really liked that, too. I think that gives a cool perspective on things, and really loved the look of the witch. I loved the gore that we got. I thought, like you said, there's not a ton of it, but when we did get it, there's, like, some really, really gross stuff that I was, like, not expecting at all. That involves an eye. But yeah, I was really into it. I think it was a really great film, but I do understand what you're saying about this couple. I do think it's on purpose, but it does kind of maybe change the... it's not the tone, but something sort of changes, I guess, whenever the couple is introduced, and but at the same time, I like how things wrap up with them too.
Yeah.
So I'm not like I don't hate everything with them at all, but I do think that I think like what you said is probably just right on. Like their chemistry is a little weird at times, but that's potentially on purpose. So, yeah, it was great. It was a really great film. I was super into it. I love witch films. I love scary witch films, too. We just watched the first 2 episodes of Agatha all along.
Yeah.
So going into this today after that was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we watched a lot of witch stuff today.
Yeah, I love it. I think witch stuff is can be very creepy. Mm-hmm. And, like I said, I think that the standout probably is the look of the witch in this. Very cool stuff.
I do want to stress, though, for anyone who is not familiar with the channel or doesn't watch a lot of random horror movies, this is lower budgeted.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're somebody who watches like high production value theater only horror films like The Conjuring or something, then you're probably gonna watch this and be like, what is this shit? Like, why does this feel lower budgeted? Why is the acting not, like, top tier? Why isn't Leonardo DiCaprio starring in this movie?
I thought the acting was good from everyone, to
The
be
acting
honest.
is good.
But
It has
right.
a low-budget feel to it throughout. And some people are immediately put off by that.
Yeah,
My father
that's
is one
fair.
of those people. If
That's
I put this
fair.
on for him, he would be like, what is this shit? Right? They just, for some reason, some people can jive with low-budget horror feel. And some people just cannot. They have to have that, like, super high quality production value to everything they watch. It has to feel...
Fair.
There is... I don't know. I've never really been able to put my finger on exactly what makes those films feel that way. Makes them feel like the Hollywood sheen that gives them that extra edge that feels like some real film.
Yeah.
And these things, I guess it's, I don't know. I don't know if it's the actors. I don't know if it's the cameras. I don't know if it's the lighting. I don't know if it's the camera crew, all the above. I've never really been able to 100% figure it out, but there's something. It's a lot of things. It's all of the above.
Yeah, I think it's probably a combination of things, but when we find like lower budget horror movies that really work for us, I kind of prefer them at times because they feel more like evil. Like just because they're smaller scale and maybe like less people have seen them. There's a little bit of like a hipster in me that's like excited that it's a lesser known thing, but I also would like them to get the attention that they deserve. And I don't know, but it does feel kind of creepier when they're lower budget to me.
Well, also, you know, when you take the studio element out,
Yeah.
it has more heart.
Definitely.
Right? It's made more passionately by actual, like, lovers of the genre or of film in general. Right? When you got the studio involved, it's typically like a product.
Right.
And a product, and it's not, you know, not to say that those products can't be good. Of course, there's tons of like Hollywood films that I love.
Definitely.
But I agree with you. I actually do prefer lower budgeted horror, indie horror.
Yeah.
Right? When indie horror works, it makes me more excited because with like when you have an unlimited budget basically and you have a studio behind you and everything, for me it's like you should be able to make something really fucking good.
Right.
But when it's indie, it's like you're so limited by what you have. And sometimes that can be great for you. But of course with a studio at the same time, you are limited by what the producers say, and they're like, you're going to make it like this, and you're going to put my fucking my nephew in the movie. And like, your nephews can't act. But anyway, getting off topic here. Beezel is definitely a really cool addition to the witch subgenre, and definitely should be checked out by fans of lower budgeted indie horror films that want to support artists. So
absolutely,
that's that. Lejean, what do you think? Oh shit, where'd it go? Lejean?
Yeah.
Right?
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know how if we're mispronouncing that, but
you're badass for sending this to us. Thank you so much.
Great film.
And I look forward to seeing what you do next, as well as the writer-directors Aaron Fradkin and Victoria Fratz.
Yeah.
Terrible with names. This is easily the best Dread original I've seen. Usually Dread originals, I dread.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah, but this is a good one. All right, that's that. See you in the comments. Bye.
Bye.